And I move to second slide. Nampak tak dia gerak?
Nampak.
Yes,
Doktor.
yes.
Okay, I move to third slide. Nampak tak gerak?
Nampak doktor.
Okay, good. Okay, sekejap I cuba sketch ya. I cuba sketch. There. Cuba sketch. Nampak tak my sketching?
Nice, boleh doktor.
Yes.
Nampak? Okay,
Cantik,
Boleh
good.
doktor
cantik,
nampak.
cantik sekali.
Okay. Alright, good. So I go to the first slide. Nampak first slide? Nampak Nampak tak?
Nampak doktor.
Oh, okay,
Nampak,
good.
doktor.
So can I start now? Ketiga kali start.
Sure.
Boleh doktor.
Okay, good. Okay. So I think tak payah repeat yang you akan belajar in the unit system. Okay. Okay, so Assalamualaikum, a very good afternoon again. Sorry macam relax sikit tadi kan. Okay, so this on the what we call the acid-base balance. Okay, the acid-base balance ni we are going to learn nanti in detail in the unit system. Okay. So the reason why we learn this is for the RS. Sebenarnya kita akan belajar for RS on how the RS, your respiratory system ni have what we call some control over this what we call the acid-base imbalance. Dia boleh control juga in any imbalance of acid or base, you punya respiratory system boleh juga control on this one, on the acid-base sebenarnya. So this is the reason why we learn acid-base balance dalam kita punya RS, respiratory system. Okay, it's supposed to be in detail nanti bila belajar dekat unit system, tapi for this time just we learn this RS just to know what we call this how does RS contribute dengan kita punya acid-base balance. Okay, okay, I move to the next slide. Nampak tak next slide?
Nampak doktor.
Okay,
Nampak.
good. Okay, so when we say about the acid-base balance, actually we are about the balancing of this one, regulation of the hydrogen ion sebenarnya. Okay, hydrogen ion ni adalah dia relation dia dengan the pH adalah macam ni ya, pH kadar this one H+. Macam tu. Okay, so the pH is equal to this one. Okay, so your punya acid-base balance is regarding controlling this one lah sebenarnya, H+ ni sebenarnya. Okay, kalau H+ is high, okay, H+ is high, your pH tu dia rendah sini, drop. pH rendah, that is known what we call the pH rendah, that's what we call known as what we call acidosis. Okay, due to this one, acidosis due to this one ni tinggi. Okay, kalau yang sebaliknya, kalau H+ kita ni sangat rendah, bila H+ kita sangat rendah, ni rendah, so this one akan jadi tinggi, pH tinggi. pH tinggi means that high means that it is actually acidemia, alkalemia ataupun alkalosis tu. Okay, itu sebenarnya. Okay, and you punya pH ni kita akan control, biasanya body kita akan control, the body kita akan control within this range 7.35 to 7.45. Itu is ideal sebenarnya. Okay, kalau pH yang we call this out of this range, kalau pH kita out of this range, ia akan menyebabkan kita punya hormones, enzyme activities kita akan terganggu. Baby going to be affected sebenarnya. Okay, so that's the reason why we learn this acid-base balance sebenarnya, balancing on the. Okay, the H+ tu akan sebabkan this one, the enzyme and hormones tu tak boleh function. Okay, so far boleh follow guys? Nampak tak my sketching semua tu clear?
Boleh doktor, nampak.
Boleh doktor.
Okay, good. Okay, now, okay, so regarding the what we call the to control the pH ni within the what we call the range of this one 7.35 to 7.45. Okay, siapa dia? What are the things actually yang dalam tubuh badan you? What are inside your body yang control the pH there? Okay, to get the acceptable pH, the things the body you apa akan buat adalah untuk dapatkan the pH yang dalam within the normal range tu. Okay, there are three There are three things actually that control your blood pH. Ada 3 kat sini, which is in by step sebenarnya. First, chemical. First is chemical buffer system. Action dia sangat cepat, rapid react, less than second. Sini kenali sebagai the first line. The first line defense sebenarnya. Okay, kalau ganggu lah you punya H plus tu kan, you pH tu, this nombor 1 ni adalah dipanggil sebagai the first line defense. Ini dahulu yang akan try to control your punya pH tu. Okay, katakan you chemical buffer system ni tak boleh nak control punya pH. Then we go into the second. Second tu lah baru guna kita punya sistem pernafasan, your respiratory system, your respiratory regulation to control the blood pH. Okay, and the reaction of this blood pH here is around what we call this one. Dia pun sama, rapid react from second to minutes untuk control the blood pH. Okay, itu. And let's say kalau pH juga, your pH tu tak dapat juga dikawal, and then comes the ultimate, the number 3 here, your renal system, renal regulation. Okay, kalau di blood pH tak boleh dikontrol oleh number 1, tak boleh dikontrol oleh this number 2, there goes your number 3 here. Number 3 ni adalah the ultimate, your renal tu. Okay, your renal system tu kan, inilah akan control di blood pH supaya get back to the normal punya pH levels. Okay, biasanya dia punya reaction of this renal system dia sangat slow react, tapi it's very important. Okay, it take minutes to hours untuk dapat kesan dia. Okay, so that's how happen in your body sebenarnya. Okay, boleh follow guys? Basic on the pH regulation.
Boleh doktor.
Boleh doktor.
So I go to the next slide. The next slide tu adalah, sekejap I padam semua ni. Okay, so the next slide adalah this one, the chemical buffer system. The chemical buffer system adalah this one, the first line defense. We go into this first. Apa jadi? Okay. Okay, can you see the next slide? Chemical buffer system.
Yes, boleh doktor.
Okay, good.
Yes, doktor.
Okay, good. Padam balik this one. Apa ada sketch tadi. Okay, good. Okay, the chemical buffer system yang I sebut the first line of defense ni kan, the first line of control of the H plus tu. Okay, it consists of, ada 3 sini, bicarbonate buffer system, ada phosphate buffer system, protein buffer system. Ini ketiga ni known as what we call the chemical buffer system. Dekat mana ni agaknya? Kalau respiratory system kita tahu itu dekat immune system, pernafasan you. Kalau renal regulation kita tahu itu dekat renal you, means that you punya ginjal. Right? This chemical buffer system ni dia dalam you punya circulation, blood circulation sebenarnya. Okay? So all these 3 ni lah, bicarb ni, phosphate buffer system, the protein buffer system, this actually inside your blood circulation sebenarnya. Dia macam berenang lah dalam you punya blood flow tu kan. So dia akan buffer lah any we call sudden shoot of this increase sikit of H plus ni. Okay, increase saja H plus ni, this one akan bertindak, dia orang ni akan bertindak semua untuk reduce the increase of H plus sebenarnya tu. Okay, it's in your blood sebenarnya, chemical buffer system, it's in your blood actually. Okay, so to see what we call this the effect, first let's go into this one, this one. Okay, bicarbonate buffer system, apa dia buat sebenarnya? Okay, bicarbonate buffer system in your blood tu ya. Okay, the chemical buffer system, number 1 is actually this one. Okay, nampak tak yang next slide ni?
Nampak doktor.
Okay,
Nampak
good.
doktor.
Okay, good. So the bicarbonate system is one of the chemical buffer system. Di manakah dia? So the bicarbonate buffer system is actually in your blood sebenarnya, dalam darah you sebenarnya. It just circulate in your blood. Dia dalam blood kamu, okay, dalam blood kamu dia punya sistem dia ada this one. Satu, dia punya bentuk dia dalam bentuk ini. Dia dalam bentuk acid carbonik yang boleh just dissociate dissociate into H+ dan juga HCO3. Satu lagi bentuk dia di buffer system dia adalah bentuk this one. Sodium bicarbonate that can dissociate into sodium and also the bicarb. So these two dua-dua ni satu and these two actually dia ada dalam darah you. Dia akan beredar-edar dalam darah you, dalam darah you. Okey, dia akan beredar. Okey, akan freely lah dalam you darah. Okey. Let's say katakan nanti tiba you makanlah makanan yang yang tinggi hidrogen ke ya, you makan benda berasid ke kan. Hidrogen akan menyebabkan you punya tinggi dalam darah you bila you makan benda-benda yang masam ke atau benda yang berasid ke kan. Okay, so katakan you ambil food yang tinggi in hydrogen, ion hydrogen. Okay, bila food yang ion hydrogen tinggi, so this hydrogen ion akan bertindak dengan bicarbonate ion. Bicarbonate ion yang mana? This one lah, punca dia dari sini. Okay, I lukis balik semula ya. So katakan you ingest H+. So inject of H+ yang you makan H+ ni atau makanan atau anything lah, you punya what call your food ingestion tu H+ dia tinggi. So this H+ ni, okay, bila dia masuk dalam jumlah darah, dia akan react dengan this one, bicarb sini. Dan juga bicarb dekat sini. So reaction dia akan jadi macam ni So this one, reaction dia akan jadi macam reaction ni lah, this one. This one. So di H+ itu yang you ambil terlebih itu daripada makanan you ke anything ke, dia akan combine dengan bicarb daripada yang bicarbonate buffer system ni, either this one ataupun this one, dia akan bentuk this one, acid bicarbonate. Acid bicarbonate ni dia akan tak lama bentuk dia akan dissociate lah berbentuk CO2 dan juga air. Okay, so dalam keadaan macam ni, ini akan menyebabkan the H+ to remain unchanged, dia tak berubah pun. Okay, nampak tu, dah tak ada dah H+ kat sini kan. Okay, and CO2 ni pula dia akan can wash out lah, kita boleh wash out saja CO2 ni. CO2 ni akan eliminate through this one akan perlukan you punya respiratory system lah untuk buang this CO2 sebenarnya. Okay. Okay, so this is one this bicarbonate buffer system. Okay, kalau H+, termasuk dalam darah you, dia akan bertindak dengan this one and this one. Akan bentuk this one. Okay, this one akan menyebabkan pH akan normal semula. CO2 ni akan buang by the expiration, so dia akan pH akan back to normal. Okay. So juga kalau let's say hydrogen ion loss, okay, hydrogen ion loss. Okay, let's say hydrogen ion ni, this one loss kurang, dia akan menyebabkan pH you jadi tinggi, alkalosis. Okay, so bila this one kurang, so apa akan berlaku adalah, apa yang buffer system akan buat adalah dia akan dissociate kan, dia akan dissociate H3O3 ni ada ni, nampak ni. Okay, dia akan dissociate menghasilkan H+. So H+ ni akan terhasil. Bila H+ terhasil, dia akan menaikkan semula the H+ in your blood. Dia akan tak lagi turun, dia akan naikkan semula. Bila naikkan semula H+, pH you akan drop semula towards the normal, macam tu. Okay, boleh follow tak guys? This is in your blood sebenarnya. Okay, so my sketching clear, nampak my sketching?
Nampak
Doktor.
Okay. So that is the bicarbonate buffer system. Itu function dia sebenarnya. Okay. So bawah ni you just baca lah. It's simple aja, you just tambah saja. Okay. So the next is the second one. Second one adalah the second one adalah the phosphate buffer system. Sama je guys. It's just what we call do the works. So the phosphate buffer system, dia ada this component. Dia ada weak base, dia ada weak acid. Okay. Katakan you ingest any what you call acid atau apa-apa. Let's say you ingest acid lah katakan kan. Katakan you inject acid ni dia pH dia tinggi, pH dia acidic, right? Acidosis. So this one akan dibuffer, dia akan dibuffer oleh this one, the weak there. Okay, HCl ni akan dibuffer oleh this one. The formation of this one akan menyebabkan what we call the pH akan normal semula. Itu saja. This is phosphate buffer system, function dia dalam darah you. The next one is a protein buffer system. Yang nombor 3 tu, protein buffer system. Dekat protein you, protein you sebenarnya ada what we call amino acid. Dekat amino acid of your this protein ni, dia ada what we call the carboxyl groups. Carboxyl group adalah this one. Okay. Okay. Dia boleh dissociate. Okay. Okay. Let's say kalau you masukkan any base, any food atau makanan yang base ada we call it alkalosis. Okay. This alkalosis ni boleh combine dengan H plus daripada yang this one, the carboxyl group ni sebenarnya. So it can be what we call normal again of the pH there. Okay. Ada juga this amino acid yang act as what we call, the hujung dia tu ada what we call NH2. Okay, amino acid dia yang belakang dia NH2 tu, dia tindak sebagai base sebenarnya. Dia akan buffer what we call any H plus yang tinggi dalam darah you. Okay, hujung dia tu. So this buffer dia akan bentuk this another ammonium punya what we call this structure or compound kat sini. So this one dia akan menyebabkan pH back to normal juga sebenarnya. Okay. Okay, boleh follow guys. It's just a very simple buffer of your blood in your blood circulation sebenarnya. Okay. So ada 3 tu. There are 3 there. Okay. The bicarbonate buffer system, the protein buffer system, another one is phosphate buffer system. And those bicarbonate, phosphate, and last one is a protein buffer system. Okay guys, boleh follow?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. So ini baru first line of defense. Okay, ini baru first line of defense. Next, kalau lah dia punya what we call this one kalau lah you punya what we call the first line defense tu yang chemical buffer system tu tak boleh nak apa tu what we call the fulfill, okay, atau balance balik the pH tu, then come the respiratory system you tu. This one akan bertindak, this is second line defense lah. Okay, dia akan bertindak untuk balance dia punya kita punya blood pH tu. Okay. So from the chemical buffer system, we go into what we call this respiratory regulation untuk control the acid base balance. Okay. So macam mana ni? Okay. Di respiratory system kita ni, as usual, kita tahu kan, kita punya respiratory system tu either they can increase in the what we call the rate or decrease the respiratory rate. Okay. So your body boleh gunakan dia punya kelebihan dari segi increase the rate, respiratory rate, increase the depth or decrease the depth, atau decrease the respiratory rate in order to control your blood pH. Okay. So to control the blood pH, okay, is by your respiratory system ni is quite easy sebenarnya. Kenapa dia sekejap ya? Okay. So to control your blood pH through this respiratory system is easy. Okay, slightly easy because your respiratory regulation ni dia just increase atau decrease saja kita punya respiratory rate and also the depth tu sebenarnya. Okay, by controlling your respiratory rate and also respiratory depth, dia akan control kita punya pH sebenarnya dalam badan kita ni. Okay, macam tu. Okay, let's say katakan contohnya I bagi kat sini adalah this one. Let's say katakan berlakunya hypercapnia. Hypercapnia tu apa? Confident come across?
dioxide concentration in the blood.
Yes, okay, good. Is increase, right? Okay. Okay. Let's say, okay, kita bagi satu case, one case. Let's say hypercapnia berlaku. So what happened to hypercapnia? When hypercapnia occurs, dia menyebabkan di CO2 tinggi kan dalam you punya blood. Okay. Remember when the CO2 tinggi dalam you punya blood, okay, CO2 ni akan hydrate ya. Dia akan plus dengan water kat sini, nampak? Bila CO2 tinggi, okay, hypercapnia ni akan menyebabkan CO2 tinggi dia akan plus dengan H2O. Dia akan hydrate, akan bentuk acid carbonic. Okay, and this one acid carbonic ni dia actually it goes to the, remember this one happen at your punya, we call is central chemoreceptors. Okay, in which one, in this one dia akan dissociate bentuk H+. So H+ kat sini nanti dia akan what we call it, stimulate your central chemoreceptor. Okay, nampak ni H+ ni akan stimulate central chemoreceptors. Okay, dia akan what we call stimulate your punya what we call the this respiratory center. When your respiratory center is stimulated, dia akan menyebabkan apa? You punya rate and depth of breathing increase. Hyperventilate. Bila this one hyperventilate, dia akan menyebabkan you punya CO2 eliminate from the lungs there. Eliminate from the lungs means that the pH back to normal. Okay, kenapa jadi macam tu? Kalau tengok this equation, okay, remember? Bila kita punya body bila kita punya sistem pernafasan you, when dia hyperventilate, dia akan promote dia akan promote supaya this dia akan promote supaya H+ ni membentuk semula H2O3. From H2O3 dia akan bentuk semula this one H2O dengan CO2. So CO2 ni akan buang from your blood circulation, sorry, from your respiration. When this promote CO2 ni for this respiration, dia akan menyebabkan what we call less formation of the H+ there. Less formation of H+ there means that your pH you akan meningkat semula towards the normal. Okay, meningkat semula towards the normal macam tu. This what happen kalau hypercapnia. Hypercapnia akan menyebabkan increase in the H+. Okay, hypercapnia increase in the H+ banyak hydrogen ion. Okay, so boleh follow that one guys. Saya tak faham tak? Sorry. I think I dah explain sedikit in the morning on this part. Boleh. Okay. Boleh faham guys? So you just use these figures untuk terangkan. Okay. So the trigger is actually CO2 tinggi. Bila CO2 tinggi, dia akan menyebabkan cause what we call increase in the H+. Okay, from this lah. H+ tinggi, that one akan stimulate your punya central chemoreceptors. Stimulate central chemoreceptors. From the central chemoreceptors, dia akan stimulate your punya, we call this, what we call the VRG, and that cause what we call increase in the rate and breathing, and that will eliminate your CO2. Okay, and back to normal. Okay, so the equation yang kita belajar this one, right? Okay, in order to get rid of the H+ here, so the equation we go to the left. To go to the left, more formation of the CO2 means that CO2 ni akan expel from your body through the lungs, means that expiration berlaku kat sini. So when expression berlaku kat sini, dia akan menyebabkan you punya CO2 ni drop semula. Drop and H pun akan drop juga. Okay. So that's what happens. So that's yang berlaku sebenarnya. Okay. So okay guys, boleh follow?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. So I move to the next slide. Nampak tak?
Nampak doktor.
Okay. Okay. Yang tadi itu adalah pH drop kan? So this one pH rise. Okay. Kalau pH rise macam mana pula? Kalau pH rise, dia akan sebab kita punya respiratory center akan jadi depressed pula. Okay. Okay. Bila respiratory center you depressed, apa yang berlaku adalah respiratory center, you punya respiratory rate akan drop and respiration also becomes shallower. Bila punya respiration becomes shallower, ia akan menyebabkan CO2 akan pula accumulates. Okay. Bila this one accumulates, CO2 accumulates, nampak Activity ni simulate, CO2 ni accumulates, dia akan menyebabkan dia punya this one move to the right. Bila move to the right, again, dia akan menyebabkan you punya H plus ni semakin tinggi. Bila H semakin tinggi, ini akan menyebabkan dia stimulate semula dia punya respiratory system. Macam tu. Okay, so this what happen kalau pH kita rise. Okay, bila kita pH kita rise, means that pH you tinggi, you punya respiratory system akan depress. Bila you punya respiratory system depress, dia akan menyebabkan accumulate of CO2. Bila CO2 accumulate, lama-lama kan, the equation ni akan go to the right. Akan menyebabkan H plus akan tinggi balik semula. Bila H plus tinggi semula, dia akan rangsang semula you punya RS system to increase back the ventilation. So increase back in ventilation means that dia akan buang di semula. So dia akan buang dia punya H plus ni is through the CO2. So what we call the equation is back to the left again to expel the CO2. Itu yang berlaku sebenarnya. Okay. So this happen during a pH rise, and this happen when what we call the pH drop. Okay. This rise and this drop. Okay, boleh guys follow tak this one?
Boleh doktor.
Okay.
Boleh doktor.
Okay, so just this one is just opposite daripada yang sebelum ni Okay, just to show you kalau berlakunya dia respiratory center to depress, dia akan menyebabkan accumulation of CO2. Okay, CO2 tu akan form what we call this one H plus. So this one akan what we call back again, do again what we call this respiration center. Okay, itulah this one. Okay. So anything that impairs your respiratory system function akan menyebabkan the what we call the acid-base imbalance sebenarnya. Okay. Anything what we call this what we call the cause what we call this carbon dioxide retention, it will lead to acidosis. Okay. Anything that retain your carbon dioxide retention ni, dia akan menyebabkan acidosis. Okay. So while macam situation like hyperventilation ni dia akan what we call wash out of the CO2, elimination of CO2, it can cause alkalosis. Macam tu. Okay. So retention, kalau kita punya what we call the respiratory system kita ni drop dia punya function, okay, dia akan menyebabkan retention of CO2. Okay. Kalau kita punya ni respiratory system kita ni we call a drop in a function, dia akan this one cause the retention of CO2. Okay, retention of CO2 can cause leads to acidosis. Okay, while we call this when your respiratory system tu kalau function dia terlampau we call lebih sangat pula, means that hyperventilate ni akan menyebabkan elimination of CO2 and that cause alkalosis. Okay, boleh follow guys yang tu? Very simple kan?
Yes, doktor.
Okay. So that's why dalam kita tengok, kalau you tengok kalau macam satu case like hysteria, have you seen like in case like hysteria, orang yang apa tu, yang menjerit-jerit macam racau tu, pernah tengok tak orang hysteria? Lepas tu dia akan, orang yang hysteria dia akan what we call hyperventilate sebenarnya. Kalau orang hysteria ni, kalau you perasan, dia hysteria and then lepas tu dia pengsan sebab dia hyperventilate. Pernah nampak tak?
Pernah, Doktor.
Pernah, Doktor.
Pernah sikit. So hysteria, in hysteria dia hyperventilate, hyperventilate. Bila dia hyperventilate, sorry, I tulis sini hyperventilate. So in hysteria dia hyperventilate. Bila dia hyperventilate, it cause what we call CO2 untuk expel keluar pada you punya what we call daripada you punya tubuh. So that cause alkalosis. Okay. Dan biasanya orang yang this one dia akan pengsan sebenarnya. Okay, orang yang hyperventilate ni akibat pada hysteria dia akan pengsan. So to prevent this, kalau you perasan, kalau orang yang biasanya hysteria ni yang di hyperventilate, to prevent this from the pengsan, faint, biasanya kita akan suruh this orang yang hysteria ni bernafas melalui what we call this paper bag. Okay, kalau masa dia hyperventilate tu, you bagi dia paper bag, suruh dia what we call bernafas melalui dia punya paper bag tu sebenarnya. Okay, bila dia bernafas dari dia punya paper bag tu, dia akan sedut actually dia punya CO2 yang sentuh sendiri. Okay, dia akan sedut sendiri dia punya CO2 yang keluar tu. So bila dia inhale dia punya CO2 tu sendiri, dia takkan berlaku what we call alkalosis. Okay, it just remain there in your body, in her or his body sebenarnya. Okay, so takkan berlaku alkalosis sebenarnya. It's just So dalam in this situation kan, kalau you tengok, pernah tak tengok kalau you pernah jadi you ahli persatuan balik bulan sabit merah ke, atau you first aider, maybe you pernah jumpa this type of what you call this type of prevention sebenarnya. Okay, on the hyperventilation, people in hysteria tu. Pernah jumpa tak this case? I'm not sure kalau dia tahu this one. Pernah tahu tak this one?
What is the consequences of alkalosis?
Okay. Consequences of alkalosis we're going to learn nanti. Ada next nanti sebenarnya. Okay, it's just to tell you kat sini dia cerita tu sebenarnya. Alkalosis dia you akan belajar, dia akan to few slide after this. Okay, so dia just to show you what happened. Okay, the alkalosis there. Okay, this one boleh follow guys?
Boleh, Doktor.
Okay. So I move to the other slide. Okay, boleh nampak ada slide? Boleh ya? Okay. So this is number 3. So number 3 adalah this is the final one. Okay, kita ada yang first line defense tu, your chemical buffer system. Okay, chemical buffer system, the first line. Second line is your respiratory system. And the third one, this the ultimate ni adalah you punya renal regulation of pH. pH regulation by your renal sebenarnya. This is the ultimate. Okay, number 2 tadi. Okay, number 2. Oops. Okay, number 2 your okay. So number 2 you punya RS. Number 1 you punya chemical buffer system. So now the third one is this one. This is the ultimate lah. Okay. So how does your renal system control the pH? Very simple here. Dalam gambar raja ni I show here. Okay, this number A ni, the pH regulation is by hydrogen ion secretion. Dekat sini, nampak this one. Hydrogen ion secretion ni. Nampak I circulate here. So by buang hydrogen ion here, and by formation of new bicarbonate ion kat sini. So this is what we call the ultimate of function of the renal. Okay, yang your chemical buffer system tak boleh buat, your punya RS tak boleh buat, tapi your punya renal system boleh buat this one. Dia boleh eliminate you punya H+ ni Okay, dia boleh eliminate the H plus, buang into the lumen tubule. At the same time, dia boleh juga produce the bicarbonate ion masuk ke dalam your blood circulation and go into the circulation to do the buffering system. Okay, this is your renal regulation. Dia boleh control the blood pH by doing this actually. Okay, and the second one, same also, pH regulation by ammonia. Ammonia here. Okay, this is ammonia, in which the product is actually eliminate of the H plus ke sini, buang, and formation of new bicarbonate, in which this bicarbonate ion akan go into your circulation to do the buffering activities, filtering system ke situ. That's number 2. And number 3, same by your renal system also, they can through this phosphate buffer system, in which again they produce another bicarbonate ion and they eliminate the H plus into what we call the lumen tubule to be excreted ke sini, buang. Okay, and H plus HCO3 here, bicarbonate ion here, we go into what we call your circulation to do the buffering system. So this is what we call the function of the renal, your renal regulation of the pH. This is how it do. Okay, the A here. Okay, by doing this, B, same, and also by the C here, macam tu. So this by the pH regulation by your renal system. Okay, so far boleh follow? I didn't go detail on the renal because the renal will be covered in your urinary system in the next semester. So I just tell you that in your renal system they akan produce this one, bicarbonate ion. Okay, bicarbonate ion here, bicarbonate ion here, and also the other one is bicarbonate ion here. And also by eliminate the H plus here, eliminate the H plus here, eliminate the H plus here to control the blood pH. Okay, so far boleh follow guys? Boleh Doktor?
Yes, Doktor.
Okay, Doktor.
Okay, now. Okay, so far kita dah pun belajar on the pH regulation. Okay, pH regulation. Okay, by the first start on the first line defense, kan, the first line defense, followed by the second line defense. Kita dah belajar on the third line, the third defense. The third defense ni by your punya apa they call the renal system, right? This kita belajar yang tadi tu. Okay, so now this one kita akan belajar. Okay, so for now we go into what we call the acid-base balance. Okay, so the acid-base balance tadi kita sebut tu ada yang acidosis, kan, ada yang alkalosis. Okay, acidosis tu dia become what we call the pH drop, alkalosis the pH high. Okay, and the causes of the pH drop or pH high here, it can be due to what we call classified into respiratory system, or maybe by your metabolic system sebenarnya yang contribute to this one. Means that kalau ada malfunction of the respiratory, it can cause either acidosis or either alkalosis. Sama juga kalau ada malfunction towards the metabolic activities, they can cause acidosis ataupun alkalosis. So we can say that they are respiratory acidosis, they are respiratory alkalosis, they are metabolic acidosis, they are metabolic alkalosis. Macam tu. Okay, and they can be classified by using the graph, okay, the table here. Okay, so the acid-base imbalance dalam tubuh you, badan you, right, can be classified, maybe ada yang metabolic acidosis, some metabolic alkalosis, or maybe respiratory acidosis, or maybe respiratory alkalosis. Okay, and depends what happened to the, okay. And the metabolic acidosis, the indicator is actually bicarbonate ion. Same also, metabolic alkalosis is by the bicarbonate ion. Okay, metabolic is by the what we call this bicarbonate ion, and the respiratory imbalance is by what we call the level of CO2. Okay, so anomalies in the acid-base balance, it can be acidosis or alkalosis, and the cause can be respiratory or metabolic, and show in this figure. Okay, this one. This is what we call imbalance. So the imbalance can be due to metabolic, bicarbonate ion, or respiratory from this CO2 there. Okay. Oops. Kenapa dia keluar this one? Something happened. What happened to this?
Maybe yang subtitle tu.
Tu kenapa? Saya pun tersilap tekan.
Tadi ada subtitle setting. Doktor pergi balik.
Oops. Okay lah. Okay. Boleh nampak the slide again? Sorry.
Boleh Doktor.
So this is the table kan? Nampak tak table ni?
Nampak.
Okay, good. Okay, to tell you on this what we call this acid-base imbalance, okay. So the chemist, what we call the chemist has what we call come with the what we call the formula. Okay, to tell you on the what we call this saya ambil pen semula. Okay. So to get what we call the pH, the pH of what we call this either acidosis ke atau alkalosis ke, okay, by looking at the what we call the metabolic ke atau looking at the respiratory ke. So the what we call the chemist has come into this equation sebenarnya. Okay, untuk mudahkan kita tengok either what we call the acidosis tu atau alkalosis tu is due to metabolic ke atau respiratory ke. So this is the formula they give the chemist. They come into this one. Okay. So the metabolic, kalau ada problem ini metabolic, they look into the bicarbonate ion. Kalau problem pada you punya respiratory, dia tengok pada you punya indicator adalah is your partial pressure of CO2. Okay. Let's say katakan the problem is actually of your the bicarbonate ion ada masalah. Okay, by metabolic ada masalah ini ke bicarbonate ion. Okay, kalau bicarbonate ion you tinggi, bicarbonate ion you tinggi, dia akan menyebabkan pH you tinggi. That is known as what we call alkalosis. Okay, alkalosis sebab bicarbonate tinggi, dia akan menyebabkan pH tinggi. This known as alkalosis. And because of this one metabolic effect, this one known as what we call metabolic alkalosis. Macam tu. Okay. Let's say contoh dia satu lagi. Okay, saya. Let's say katakan this the cause of the what we call is due to this respiratory. Okay. Katakan you ada problem dengan the respiratory system in which that increase in the CO2. Increase in CO2 means that this one akan drop. Betul? Nampak tu? Sini naik, sini turun. Increase in CO2 akan menyebabkan pH drop. pH drop ni dikenali sebagai acidosis. Okay, acidosis, pH drop. Right? And the causes is really from the respiratory. Okay, respiratory cause the increase in what I call CO2. So this one, acidosis is known what we call respiratory acidosis. Respiratory acidosis due to increase in CO2. Increase this one mean decrease in the pH, and it's due to the respiratory system yang ada masalah. Okay, so these are the chemical. The chemists come with this idea of this formula in order to get you easy to understand on how to look into this one. That's become in this one lah. So senang lah tengok metabolic acidosis apa dia, metabolic alkalosis apa dia, this one apa dia, and those apa dia. It's easy. Kalau metabolic acidosis, you can see right, the bicarbonate adalah rendah. Okay, bicarbonate rendah. Metabolic alkalosis dia, bicarbonate dia tinggi. Okay, back again, gunakan this formula. Okay, let's say metabolic acidosis dia punya this one rendah. Rendah, this one, okay lah, rendah due to this one. And this the effect. Boleh follow this one guys. I bagi cara paling mudah untuk you tahu. Gunakan this equation, Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, to look on what we call the effect of the metabolic or effect of the respiratory. Does it cause acidosis or does it cause alkalosis? Macam tu. Boleh follow guys?
Yes,
Follow
boleh
tak this one?
Doktor.
This one boleh follow tak?
Boleh, Doktor.
Senang tak?
Boleh, Doktor.
Easy right? Untuk you faham Okay. Sekejap ya. Okay, boleh ya. So from the respiratory, okay, again I beritahu from the respiratory kita tengok saja daripada dia punya CO2. Kalau di metabolic causes kita tengok saja dia punya this one. Okay, either decrease of this one or increase of this one akan affect the pH. Sama juga dengan CO2 yang daripada respiratory system decrease ke atau increase ke, this one akan relate dengan this one pH tu. Okay, tu. Okay, now we go into respiratory, go in detail kita go in detail yang daripada yang this one. Okay, this one in, okay, go in detail. Okay, respiratory acidosis and alkalosis. Okay, I go to the terus kepada sini lah, senang. Okay, so again I gunakan this equation, nampak? Okay, dalam respiratory acidosis apa dia punya feature? Respiratory acidosis adalah feature dia adalah the most good indicator dia adalah rising partial pressure of CO2. Nampak ni, rising partial pressure of CO2, rise here, sini meningkat, sini drop. Dah, pH. Okay, that's known as respiratory acidosis. Opposite pula dengan yang respiratory alkalosis. Respiratory alkalosis, nama dia alkalosis, CO2 dia ni sangat, indicator adalah CO2 dia sangat rendah, so pH dia tinggi. That's cause alkalosis. Dia lah that's known as the alkalosis there. The function is of respiratory tak function, and this is what we call this one. Okay, so this is how we see the things. Okay, boleh follow tak that one?
Ya, boleh Doktor.
Okay, so I go to the next slide. There is this one respiratory. Metabolic alkalosis pun sama, metabolic acidosis pun sama juga. I give you the same thing, okay, in which metabolic acidosis, alkalosis, we look at this one, HCO3, okay, indicator dia. So, kalau dalam metabolic acidosis, kita tengok pada this one lah, HCO3. Metabolic acidosis means that this one actually drop. This one drop. Backup dia drop hingga kan pH dia pun sama drop dan become acidosis, acidemia. Sama juga in opposite way, metabolic alkalosis here indicate dia punya bicarbonate ion here as high, sangat tinggi, Bila tinggi, you punya pH pun sama juga tinggi. Effect is tinggi lah sebenarnya. This known as metabolic alkalosis. Look at the HO3, you nampak dia akan effect tinggi. Okay? Boleh follow that one? That is metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. Compare ni dengan yang we belajar on respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis. Macam tu. Okay, senang kan nak tengok kalau macam ni kita gunakan this equation. Tahu? So far okay tak? Boleh follow guys?
Boleh Doktor.
Okay kan? Okay. So after that, okay, this one adalah what we call respiratory and renal compensation. Respiratory and renal compensation. Apa tu? Ini adalah di mana kita dapati ya, kita punya what we call the lung and kidneys, dia boleh saling what we call buffer. Each other tu dia boleh buffer antara satu sama lain. Kan? Kalau kita punya lungs ni ada problem, the kidney boleh buffer dia. Ada masalah dengan punya lungs ni, the kidney boleh betulkan balik di abnormality ni disebabkan oleh what we call these lungs. Okay, let's say your lungs ni menyebabkan keadaan respiratory acidosis, your kidney boleh betulkan balik keadaan respiratory acidosis kat sini. Okay, let's say your kidney menghadapi masalah metabolic cause what we call the effect or we call metabolic acidosis, your lung juga boleh betulkan balik keadaan yang disebabkan oleh you punya this kidney. Okay, boleh follow that part? Respiratory and renal compensation. Ni bagi yang paling mudah untuk you faham sebenarnya. Okay, supaya you boleh dapat. It means that respiratory boleh what you call buffer di what you call renal, dia boleh compensate your respiratory system. Your respiratory system boleh compensate what been done by the renal, while your renal also can compensate what been done by your respiratory system. Okay, boleh follow that one?
Boleh Doktor.
Let's say katakan you punya lungs respiratory system cause this one, respiratory acidosis. Respiratory acidosis, nama pun acidosis, dia akan menyebabkan you punya pH drop, H plus tinggi, and penyebab utama adalah CO2 tinggi. So CO2 tinggi ni, so apa yang you punya kidney boleh buat untuk drop balik dia punya pH ni supaya rendah balik semula, naik balik semula. So di kidney, apa dia boleh buat semula? So kita guna balik yang this equation tadi tu, nama tepat ni pH tadi. Equation tadi tu I just guna balik ya. Log bicarbonate is CO3 over CO2 tadi kan, PCO2. Okay. So dari sini kita dah tahu kalau contoh respiratory acidosis ni. Respiratory acidosis ni dia punya penyebab dia adalah this one, CO2 dia tinggi, right? So we can say CO2 dia tinggi. Okay, respiratory acidosis penyebab dia adalah CO2 dia tinggi. CO2 is high. When CO2 is high, the pH drop. Nah, the pH drop, this pH drop ni dinamakan sebagai acidosis ni. Okay, so because of this one caused by your respiratory system, so you punya kidney nak buat apa sebenarnya supaya pH ni get back to normal. So the kidney ni akan gunakan kelebihan dia, the tools dia akan gunakan this one lah. Dia akan gunakan bicarbonate ni untuk cancel the effect of the CO2 ni. Macam mana? So since that di sini tinggi, pH rendah, so the bicarbonate ion ni akan lebih dihasilkan by your renal system. Nampak tu? Dia akan hasilkan lebih renal system, di renal system bicarbonate ion akan lebih dihasilkan in your renal system. When increase of bicarbonate ion ni, dia akan increase back the pH tu back to normal. Okay, that's why dekat sini dia tulis sini if compensating. Nampak tu? Means that kalau punya respiratory system cause the increase in the pH, decrease in the pH, increase the H plus here, okay, by this increase in CO2, so the renal system akan gunakan dia punya bicarbonate ni untuk compensate balik supaya pH tu tinggi balik semula and get back to normal macam ni, this one. Yang I dah sketch kat sini semua ni. Itu di what I call compensation sebenarnya. Boleh faham tak guys? Ke laju sangat?
Yes, boleh doktor. Boleh.
Boleh kan? Okay, sama juga dengan yang lain-lain. Okay, I give you on the respiratory acidosis. Let's say kalau let's say katakan tiba-tiba berlaku metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis ni apa dia? Okay, kita lukis balik the equation pH equal to log of the, we call this HCO3 over PCO2. CO2. Okay. Let's say kalau dalam metabolic acidosis, penyebab metabolic acidosis adalah this one. Apa metabolic acidosis, penyebab dia adalah this one. This one means show dekat sini. Okay, means that the drop sini, drop of the CO3, HCO3 there, drop. Bila drop of CO3 ini menyebabkan pH dia drop. pH drop sini lah yang show dekat sini lah. Ni. Okay, nampak tu. So apa yang because this one are the what you call your renal system. So to compensate your renal system ni dia come the lung lah. Lung ni lah akan compensate what been done by your renal system. So apa lung akan buat? Apa lung akan buat kat sini? Supaya get back the pH to normal. pH ini drop kan? Okay. Adakah this one CO2 ni akan naik atau turun sebenarnya? So to get back the pH ni supaya dia just turun balik pH ni supaya dia naik semula. So what happens that what you call this one? Apa kena buat kat sini? Naik ke turun?
Turun doktor.
Turun cara apa dia biasanya respiratory system ni buat untuk turunkan CO2?
Hyperventilation.
Yes, very good. They hyperventilate. Means that they wash out the CO2 here. They wash out the CO2 here. They can drop. Bila drop here, the drop here means that they akan increase back the pH. Dia akan naik balik pH ni. The pH naik balik semula, back to the normal value macam tu. So that is happening macam tu. Okay, that's the occurs. Boleh guys, follow?
Yes, boleh doktor.
Okay. So these are in wordings. Okay, I dah sketch tadi. So these are in wordings lah sebenarnya. I think I tak perlu go detail this one sebab I dah cerita tadi using the figures ni. This one actually in the complete sentence ini ada sebenarnya. The complete sentence ni adalah untuk yang this one yang I dah explain ni. Okay. So it's respiratory compensation. Okay, this one lah yang I sebut tadi tu. Respiratory compensation tadi kan yang I sebut tu, how to increase back the pH tu, is the same thing lah sebenarnya. Okay. It's the same thing in the wordings tadi yang I sebut dah cerita dia sebenarnya. Okay. Ini bersama renal compensation pun sama juga. Yeah. Okay. Boleh follow tak guys? Nak juga saya explain this part ke? In wordings because I dah explain on this part. Ini pun nak explain ke sebab this one is in complete wordings lah. Complete sentence.
Maksudnya dah okey doktor tadi.
Yeah. So samalah. Okay. So these are the things. So samalah this one So boleh follow say okay. So next, this one, how to analyze person acid-base balance. Okay, macam mana nak tengok sebenarnya kalau kita diberi satu data on what we call this data, on the pH, NaCO2, NaCO3. Okay, contohnya macam kita bagi macam this one. When you give a data like this, macam ni nak tengok dia tu acidosis ke atau dia alkalosis ke atau dia punya the main causes of this one HA respiratory ke atau metabolic. Okay, so cara nak tengok adalah on how you to look at the what you call to analyze a person acid-base balance. Okay, the rule of thumb dia dekat sini sebenarnya. Okay, mula-mula sekali yang perlu tengok adalah kena tengok dia punya pH. Number one, tengok dulu pH dia. Okay, after tengok pH dia, either dia acidosis ke atau dia apa alkalosis ke. Secondly, you look into what we call the partial pressure of CO2, and thirdly, tengok kat dia punya what we call this one, the bicarbonate ion. Then we know dia tu either respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, metabolic acidosis or metabolic alkalosis. Okay, so this is the way there, the rule of thumb. Ikut ni saja. Mula-mula tengok pH, secondly tengok CO2, thirdly tengok di HCO3. Okay, so kita tengok pada yang this one dulu ya. Okay, kita tengok this one. Tengok this one ya. pH. Okay. First kita tengok problem yang number 1 ni. Sekejap ya, padam balik semula. Tak apa. First kita tengok problem number 1. Number 1 ni kita tengok dia bagi data you kita panggil this one is actually this one we call the arterial blood gases analysis. Okay, this one we know as blood gases analysis, arterial blood gases analysis. Okay, dia akan bagi this lah data ni. Dia bagi blood pH, dia akan bagi CO2 level, dia akan bagi dia bicarbonate level. Nah, this is what we call arterial blood gases. Okay, dia akan ambil dari payung darah, dia akan tengok this level sebenarnya. Okay, so macam mana kita nak tahu either this one is acidosis ke alkalosis ke apa. So first follow the rule number 1. Kita tengok dulu pH dia. Tengok dulu pH dia. pH dia apa ni? Acidosis ke alkalosis?
Alkalosis.
Yes, alkalosis kan? Alkalosis dia. Next, tengok dia punya CO2. Tengok CO2 dia. CO2 dia is around 24. 24 berapa yang normal range?
35
Normal
to
range
45.
berapa ya? 35 to 45. Oi, 35. Yang itu berapa? Is 24, rendah kan? Betul?
Yes, doctor.
Betul.
Kan? So, what happens that? Kita put this together kat sini. Okay, alkalosis. This one alkalosis means that pH dia tinggi. And the CO2 is very low. Put here, it's very low. There, buat tu, low. So low here, low kat sini rupanya menyebabkan pH dia tinggi. Alkalosis. Okay. Then, lepas tu baru kita tengok dia punya level of the CO3. CO3 berapa kat sini? 23. 23 kalau tengok dekat di range here is within the normal range. So normal range kat sini okey lah. Ini normal saja, tak ada apa-apa yang mengganggu. It's just normal. So this one is very clear. It's just what we call respiratory alkalosis. Respiratory alkalosis because it's by this one. This one drop. pH dia akan naik. This one what we call respiratory alkalosis. Not compensated by renal mechanism sebab this one normal saja. Okay, this one normal saja means that dia tak ada kacau. Dia just a simple respiratory alkalosis. Okay. Boleh follow guys into?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. So now kita bagi yang problem number 2 pula. Okay, problem number 2 ni kita lukis balik dia punya equation there. Okay, again kita look kita tengok balik semula dia punya arterial blood gases ni, analysis dia, what's been given. First, rule of thumb, tengok dia punya pH. pH dia 748. Apa tu? 48 is what we call
Tinggi doktor. alkalosis.
Alkalosis macam ni. Okay, alkalosis kan sama juga alkalosis macam tu. Alkalosis. Okay. Second rule is lah kita tengok kita punya this one. Tinggi kan? Tinggi tak kalau banding dengan this one?
Tinggi.
Tinggi kan? Tinggi daripada yang tinggi sikit. Tinggi sedikit lah. Okay, tinggi sedikit. Okay, kalau tinggi sedikit, dia suppose kalau kita punya CO2 kalau tinggi, if the CO2 is tinggi, high, dia suppose dia punya pH rendah kan? Sepatutnya macam tu. Tapi dia data dia bagi ni adalah tinggi, ada pH dia tinggi. Sepatutnya kalau pH CO2 tinggi, this pH sepatutnya drop. Sepatutnya macam tu. Tapi tak berlaku. Okay, tak apa. Tunggu dulu. Kita tengok pula yang number 3. Number 3 tu adalah tengok pula yang CO3 ni, HCO3 ni. So tengok HCO3 ni berapa nilai dia sebenarnya? Oh, berapa tu?
Tinggi.
33 berapa CO3? 33 rupanya dia tinggi. 33 ni tinggi lagi daripada yang ni semua. Okay. So kita boleh katakan that 33 bicarbonate ni kat sini ni dia tinggi ni, this actually contribute the pH yang tinggi kat sini. Bila kita pH ni tinggi kat sini, kita punya respiratory system, okay, respiratory system kita ni cuba untuk bring the increase in the pH ni, dia akan buat supaya CO2 tinggi pula. Bila CO2 tinggi, this one cuba compensate the pH supaya drop balik semula rendah. Okay, so this what we call this one lah ni. Metabolic alkalosis being compensated by the respiratory system. Okay, sebab berlakunya alkalosis, so you punya respiratory system cuba tingkatkan balik CO2 supaya get the pH back to normal. Okay, so the pH here, the CO2 here try to cancel yang pH yang terlalu tinggi ni, so just to drop back again. Itu saja sebenarnya. So this how the interplay, okay, between your renal system juga dengan you punya respiratory system. Okay, so these are dua contoh yang I can give you here. Okay, I mean I think you can help you to understand more on this one. Okay, so remember you can use this Henderson-Hasselbalch equation in order to help you to understand more of these problems. Okay, so boleh follow tak this guy?
Ya, boleh doktor.
Okay. So this one effect of acidosis and alkalosis, this one okay, you can baca, you can read it on your own. Okay, because this one is just effects there. Okay, ini apa berlaku kalau acidosis, apa berlaku metabolic acidosis, acidosis, the causes, okay, semua causes of the respiratory and so metabolic acidosis, and the effect of acidosis apa towards your nervous system. Sama juga in the respiratory alkalosis, what are the causes of the alkalosis respiratory, and this one is metabolic alkalosis, what are the causes of the metabolic alkalosis. Okay, kalau berlaku this alkalosis, what happen to the nervous system. So itu. Okay, that is the story behind it. Okay, I think that's it for this my lecture today. It's very very simple one, because these are just a fundamental of the acid-base balance, in which we discuss mainly on the respiratory system, on how the respiratory system can adjust in the the acid-base imbalance. Okay, I think that's it for the lecture for today. Any questions, guys? Ada apa-apa yang tak clear ke?
Doctor, actually my question is about the effect on alkalosis and acidosis lah. My question is because we have learned in previous lecture that hydrogen ion cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Therefore, my question is, if it cannot cross the blood-brain barrier, how does it cause the depression of central nervous system? Or does it mean that it only cause the depression at other parts of the central nervous system and it's not to the brain?
mean, by this one, yeah.
Yeah. Depression
Ah.
to nervous system.
Okay.
In the previous slide, it's central nervous system. Yeah.
Okay, this one. Okay. You know that H plus cannot cross the blood-brain system, right? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, this is one point that you have to know. Okay, good. Okay. Do you know that H plus can also appear or appear in your we call the central nervous system by what we call this CO2. Remember, in my lecture notes, in my previous lecture notes, during a lecture in the morning, kalau you perasan, my lecture in the morning, I ada in my lecture I did mention, I mention in my lecture, this CO2 actually this one yang boleh I call this one akan hydrate. This one akan hydrate. Hydrate membentuk this HCO3. This lah yang akan cross the this one akan cross dia punya blood-brain barrier. Bila dia cross blood-brain barrier, dia akan dissociate balik. Akan bentuk this one lah, H plus dan juga HCO3. Okay. So this formation kat sini this one lah yang akan cross punya blood-brain barrier sebenarnya. This one, bila cross the blood-brain barrier, dia akan dissociate berbentuk H plus. This H plus ni lah akan depress your central nervous system sebenarnya. Okay. Dia bukan H plus daripada yang metabolic. Okay. Kalau you ingest any food yang tinggi dia punya H plus tu, okay, let's say macam you do some exercise increase in your lactic acid okay, lactic acid, ataupun you ada macam we call the diabetic ketoacidosis. Okay, diabetic ketoacidosis ni these two increase also the H plus, tapi the H plus ni cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. This one only can stimulate what we call the peripheral chemoreceptor saja kan. This one H plus yang daripada CO2 ni, this one can what we call stimulate the central chemoreceptors. H plus dari yang sini, daripada yang acid lactic ni atau daripada ketoacidosis ni, they cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. It just we call stimulate the peripheral chemoreceptors. While the central chemoreceptors is what we call by H plus, that the origin is from this one. Macam tu. Okay. So that's the explanation for that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay. Ada in my lecture notes yang di previous slide, yang pagi tadi punya lecture notes ada. They are mentioned also in that. Ada baca balik that one. Ada. But good because you think actually you have some thought on that. So yeah, very good then. Okay. So I think that's it for lecture for today. My last lecture lah kan. Okay. So okay, definitely I can definitely I can make one question from this one sebenarnya. Okay. This lecture I can actually can make one question sebenarnya. Okay. Remember my story yang cerita tentang hysteria tu? You baca sikit lebih on hysteria tu, on how that hysteria hyperventilate to wash out the CO2, and then you ambil paper bag, you inhale your own we call the breath tu. Baca balik yang that one it's very important. If keluar exam, kalau keluar Okay. Ada apa-apa lagi, guys? Oh, tak ada apa-apa, kita boleh stop sini dan kita boleh
Thank you, doctor.
semua program okay. Saya stop sini dulu So all the best for the coming assessment and also the final exam. Okay. So anything kalau tak clear, you just email me lah. boleh email, you boleh email and I just try to answer the questions. Okay, susah nak jumpa because kita dalam situation this one, pandemic ni susah nak jumpa pula kan dia. Okay, oops, mana dia? Okay.